What's good, people? I thought I'd do a quick stream last minute to talk about yesterday's game. Um, to be fair, we're going to get some reaction tonight on Lee Judge's TV and tomorrow on Lee Judge's TV as well. You see the same old gooners, myself, Harry, Graham, and Lee. So make sure you join us tomorrow night at 9. I'm sure there's going to be some difference of opinions on what happened yesterday, which, to be fair, was 3 points that we're all happy with. Don't get me wrong. We all wanted to see 3 points. But we're going to talk about the lineup. We're going to talk about the unexpectedness of some of those players that got the mention, got the nod yesterday. We're going to talk about Mikel Arteta experimenting and some of the team selection, but also some of the substitutions. We're going to talk about how Forest had set up in comparison to how we did formation-wise. And we're going to talk about some of the individual pieces of skill and how we felt that we played as a team. First half and second half, very different performances from Arsenal as far as I'm concerned, and Nottingham Forest also. So we're going to talk into it, and we're going to do about a 20-minute, half-hour stream. Do me a favour, make sure you like this video, make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're new. I want to try and get up to 12k as soon as possible, people, and hit as many likes as we can. Let's do us all a favour as well. Make sure you do the same over at Lee Judge's TV. My boy Lee Judge has got so much content coming on at the moment, and obviously me and him are together on that one as well. So make sure that we're doing that also. I have to say, interestingly, it was a game yesterday that a lot of people I've spoken to have so many different opinions on. It's quite interesting for me to see that there's so much difference of opinion in football, but yesterday's result, I hear people saying it was great. I hear people saying they were disappointed. I hear people saying they really liked the fact we were experimenting. Some people were disappointed that we didn't do more of that in pre-season and get our best 11 out there. Some people were really surprised at how our second half was so different to our first. So I want to hear from you guys. I want to know what your thoughts were of yesterday's performances. I want to know who impressed you. I want to know what disappointed you, if anything at all. I want to know what was positive to take away from yesterday other than just 3 points. So get involved in the chat. Make sure it's an interactive one. If you want to whack your super chats in, please make sure that you do. If you have a question for me, I'll go through as many as I can. Please make sure you have a cue at the start of it so that I know it's a question, so we can go through it together as a team. Let's start with it, shall we? I have to be honest with you. I said to my parents, who I went with yesterday, let's make sure we get up there early, because this new ticketing system I don't have faith in. We got up there around about 11 o'clock, and by half 11 I said, let's get in there. Normally we go to the pub, we quite soak up the atmosphere. We never really wants to get in there really early. We get in there early enough normally, but yesterday I wanted to get in there early, and my goodness, was I right. I was so glad we got in there early. By 11:30 they were doing buy one get one frees in the Emirates on cider and beer, so I thought that's perfect for me. Cheaper than the pubs. Let's get there nice and early, soak up the atmosphere, listening to the singing at Block 5, which is what we always do, and then watching the England game, ladies game on the TV as well. And I reckon 25, 30 minutes in, things started to slow down. I was like, what's going on? What's happening here? Everyone's outside. I'm seeing all my phones going nuts. We've got 40,000 people around about 12:15 trying to get into the game for a half-12 kickoff. Then it was announced that the kickoff would be delayed by half an hour. Why? Because of that. The new system had gone shut down. None of the turnstiles worked. Every single person had to be manually let in. It was an absolute disaster. And they got the game kicked off by 1 p.m. But that's not the point. The point is that affects people's moods. It affects people's chaotic experience of Arsenal Football Club. It doesn't raise the bar to say that we are a classy club. It's more embarrassing than anything. Newcastle have changed their system. They had no problems yesterday. They trialled theirs. Apparently, I was speaking to Pete from this channel, who said, yeah, we trialled it, mate, and it's all gone well. As far as Arsenal are concerned, it ain't gone well. And my goodness, what a poor start for the first game of the season. Trying to get in was an absolute disgrace. So they have to change that. You know, the club have to look at that and say, right, why was that so bad? What was it that was the problem? Why did the system go kaboom? It was as if everybody was trying to get on the internet at the same time, and that was why it was slow. That's basically what it reminded me of. I was really surprised at how poor it was, but I didn't have any faith in it that it'd be working smoothly. I did expect delays, but I did not expect that. They literally, I had so little faith that it would be good. It actually became worse than I thought, and I had little faith. That's how mad it was, man. So listen, get your questions in. We're going to talk about it all. We're going to get into the game. We're going to get into why we believe that there are some positives and negatives from yesterday's performance. Let's start with the team lineup. After everybody was finally in the ground and we were able to get excited about the game, um, the team lineup had everybody scratching their heads. Nobody knew how we were going to set up. Nobody knew if we were going to go with three at the back, five at the back. Nobody knew if it was going to be a four at the back. Everybody was confused by it. And the only reason I felt he did that was because of Nottingham Forest's lineup. That was basically, we're going to sit in a low block and we're going to have five or six of us at the back. And that's how we're going to line up. So Mikel Arteta decided to go along with Ramsdale in goal with a three at the back that had Partey sort of playing at right back and Timber sort of playing at left back. But in and out of position, it was just going crazy. I couldn't keep up with where everybody was supposed to be playing. I saw Ben White at right back sometimes, then Partey come back at right back. Timber was playing more as a left-sided centre back, then a left back. I was so confused. I had no idea what was going on, to be honest with you. But you know what? For the first half, it worked. Other than Brennan Johnson catching us out and probably disappointed that he should have done better, we didn't really give Nottingham Forest a sniff and we had all the possession and all the play. I thought Ben White had a really good first half along with what I saw from the right-hand side and left-hand side complementing each other. But the one that really impressed me more than anybody throughout the whole game was Declan Rice. I thought he was really good. And if you're talking about players that didn't show any of the flair or brilliance of the goals, which we'll come into, I think he probably was our best player yesterday, Declan Rice, because he was so impressive in that role. Now, we sort of lined up with Timber, Partey at right back, White and Saliba. But when I was seeing us in and out of possession, it had changed to a three at the back of Timber, Saliba and White. And then sort of had Partey allowing Saka to get more space, dropping into the midfield, and Rice was dropping into the kind of holding role as well at times. That then, of course, allowed our front four to do what they do best, and that's show class. And I think Saka, Martinelli, Eddie working hard. Havertz, to be fair, the press was really impressive from me. Didn't stop running. Looked knackered towards the end of the game. A lot of them did, to be honest. So I think when you look at it, it's going to be interesting for me to see how often we play that system. I really wanted us to see us blitz Nottingham Forest yesterday, and I thought the best way to do that was to go 4-3-3. I personally probably would have stuck to that because in the second half, we'll talk about it in a minute, but I just don't think it worked. For me, with Ramsdale in goal, I would have played Timber left back, White right back, and then had Saliba and Gabriel in the middle. If Gabriel had a knock for whatever reason, then Kivior comes in. Then you play Rice, Partey and Ødegaard, and then you play, for me, Trossard, Saka and Martinelli. So Havertz and Eddie and Smith Rowe and Vieira and Tini and Tomiyasu, these guys would have been on my bench for me, and it would have been a strong bench. So I was really surprised to see that. I really was. And I don't know if we're going to be doing that against a lot of the teams that sit with a low block, but it certainly did work in the first half. I've got to mention the goals. The first goal for me was an outstanding piece of play from Gabriel Martinelli, who for me was probably the man of the match, along with Declan Rice. I thought he was outstanding. And the brilliance from him individually, a lot of people are now saying he didn't mean it. Well, what is he supposed to be doing there then? What is he meaning to do? Because I said it on AFTV, and I stand by it. I think we've got the best left winger in the league, people. I really do. I don't look at any of the other left wingers and think, yeah, I'd take them over Martinelli. I wouldn't take Rashford because I don't feel he's as consistent as Martinelli has been in the last couple of seasons. I think with 15 goals last season, he's really proven how good he was. When he wasn't playing and Unai Emery had given him a chance, he got 10 goals and most of those were from up front. And when Martinelli was coming back from his injury and Arteta was moulding him back in, he was getting good numbers for the amount of returns that he was playing. So for me, I think Martinelli has got everything to be one of our best players. I really do. I love the fact that he's got so much positivity moving forward. He's tenacious. His attitude is, for me, spot on professionally and personally in terms of an Arsenal player. When he loses the ball, he runs back and he wins it back and he does everything he can to win it back. And that's what I love about him, is a never say die attitude. The tenacity he shows is insane. I think his link-up play is getting better and better. I understand what people say by sometimes he can be a bit selfish, but I quite like that about his game. I don't think he's a player that is 100% I'm hogging the ball, but I do think sometimes I can see why people think that. But I think he's got the right mentality and attitude to drive forward and do one thing, and that's try and do what he can to score, create, or assist a goal. And I thought yesterday it was a brilliant piece of skill. We saw an individual piece of brilliance from him to take two players out of the game and allow Eddie to go through and score. Now, it was a good finish from Eddie, to be fair. He did all that he could. He kept his head down. He did everything that he could once that ball had left his foot. Yeah, it's not gone in smoothly. It's obviously hit somebody and gone in. But it's not been a huge deflection that's allowed the goal to go in. So we go 1-0 up. And Eddie Nketiah actually yesterday did provide a lot of energy and intensity. He did provide a lot of link-up play. I felt that one thing that I've seen in the last 2 years of Eddie is he looks a lot stronger now. Last season, he definitely bulked up. This season, even more so. I think he does a lot more off the ball now than I've seen him do of the last couple of seasons. But for me, I do have worries that we wouldn't be able to go forward and win a title if Eddie was our number one striker. So Eddie's definitely got a place around this squad, and we know that he has. If a bid come in, I'm not going to sit there and lie to you and say that we wouldn't be accepting it, because I think that we could do better. But if you're going to keep Eddie Nketiah and not replace him with anybody, you've got to keep Eddie Nketiah and keep him around the squad. And yesterday, a lot of people say he gets so underappreciated. I'm not so sure that he does by Mikel Arteta. I think some of the fan base might do. But Arteta's given him more than enough chances. So I think he did well. Havertz. I'll come back to Havertz in a bit. But in my opinion, there was a lot yesterday that I like about his game. I like his hold-up play. I like the fact that he has got some good passing ability. I think he's got good technique ability on the ball. I like the fact that he's a presser. He don't stop running. I understand why people think he's had a good couple of games. I also am on the side of the fence that I've not seen anything spectacular from him yet. So that's what I'll say personally from Kai Havertz's point of view. I'm not so sure that we found the position for him yet, and I think that's the issue. I see him in the Ødegaard position, and I don't think he's getting ahead of Ødegaard. He's definitely not getting ahead of Jesus in the number 9 position, and I don't think he's the best number 8 that we've got. So I think Rice, Partey, and Ødegaard is the midfield I'd go with, and Jesus is the striker. He's not going to get ahead of Saka or Martinelli wide, so where does he fit in? I think, though, it's okay to be a squad rotation player. I think it's good to be a squad player. And I think with Havertz, what people are going to do now is micromanage his performance and treat him a little bit like Pepe. Because he was 72 million and because Havertz is 65 million, you're going to start to see now, yeah, we need to see goals, goals, goals. I need to give him time before I start to judge. First couple of games looked okay, nothing to write home about, but also nothing to start shouting and losing our heads about, in my opinion, with Kai Havertz. Then let's talk about us going 2-0 up, because this was the goal that was special for me. Where I sit in the North Bank towards the corner flag, I could see this perfectly angled. And do you know what? The Nottingham Forest fans probably could from there where they were sitting as well. When Bukayo Saka cuts on that left, I'm screaming shoot now, because I've seen him do it for club and country, but I haven't seen him do it enough. I sometimes feel like Saka has not the confidence to go for it enough. And I think he should, because we're starting to see now why he needs to shoot more. I was so impressed by what I saw. I thought he was so solid yesterday. And him and Martinelli with that piece of individual brilliance in the first half, let's be real, guys, is the reason we won the game. I spoke about Declan Rice's performance. He's so comfortable on the ball. He wins the ball back fantastically well. He puts in a tackle. He's a really good leader on the pitch. You can see that already. He's a communicator on the pitch. You can see that already. And he does have some drive. People trust him on the ball. People want to give him the ball. Like Martin Ødegaard and Thomas Partey. That's why I love our midfield, because the trio complements itself. But also what it does is it allows for everybody to have faith in the midfield. I don't care what anybody says. Midfields win you trophies. They do. Look back to all of the amazing midfielders that have won trophies in the Premier League. Arsenal itself has had Vieira and Petit, Vieira and Gilberto. If you look back even further to Manchester United's midfield, it was Keane and Scholes. You look at Chelsea, Lampard and Makelele, or Essien, Lampard, Ballack. Manchester City, Yaya Tourés, Kevin De Bruyne, David Silvas. These midfield trios or pivots have won these guys an unbelievable amount of trophies. And this is why we need a really important midfield. And I think personally we've got a really good midfield in that trio. So that was the team selection. I was a bit surprised. I was a bit shocked that he didn't go with the Gabriel and Trossards of this mix. And that's the player I want to bring up next. When Trossard come on, he was probably one of the only positives in that second half. Because the second half was a bit flat. It went a bit dead. Forest point of view as well, they weren't outstanding. But there was always the chance within the last 20 minutes when they got that goal that they could get another. Now, it was disappointing to concede that goal because it was made so easy. We had a corner, the corner gets floated in, it gets defended well, and then they're on the break. And Anthony Elanga literally leaves everybody for dead. And then when it's squared to Onyi, everybody believes that Nottingham Forest can get back in this game. My WhatsApp starts going off. All the neutral fans are saying Arsenal holding on here, clinging on, hanging on for dear life. I didn't see that as the case in the second half. I actually thought it was a really poor second half from both sides, if I'm honest with you. But Nottingham Forest have proved they can get into a game. They've scored their goal. And then Steve Cooper does something. And that's lump everybody in. Now, he lumps everybody on that's over 6 foot. Chris Wood comes on. Kouyaté comes on. Awoniyi was brought on. And then it's about Matt Turner pumping the balls into the box. And anything could happen there. So I think what my biggest frustration was that we never killed the game off, even in the second half, the first half. We didn't really create enough chances for me to kill the game off either. We wasn't peppering their goal. Forest wasn't peppering ours, but we weren't peppering theirs. So it wasn't like a real convincing win. And I think when you look at it, I went for a 4-0 win because of the team I expected to be out there. I think what Arteta had done was, this is going to be really hard to break them down, so I'm going to have to put this team out today. And in the end, it worked. We got the 3 points. But I felt like some of his substitutions were left a little bit late. And this is where I want to see Mikel Arteta improving. In-game management, it needs to be a lot better. I thought a lot of our players looked tired. Saka, Havertz, even Eddie, I know he came off. Martinelli, all these guys that are giving it all started to look a little bit tired. And I felt we could have made some changes a little bit better there. Trossard, Gabriel, Smith Rowe, they could have all come on. All three of those, there's not a huge drop-off. Gabriel starts, Trossard should start, and obviously Smith Rowe we've talking about. So, let's see what happens in the rest of the season. But I'd like to see improvements there from Mikel Arteta in terms of the substitutions. Let's get Havertz off. Let's get Trossard on. Let's ensure that Gabriel comes on now, and let's stop with this system and go back to what we know. Emil Smith Rowe, I'd like to see a lot more of him. So that's my manager queries and concerns there. The other thing I'm not so sure about is playing Partey at this right back role. Thomas Partey is one of the best holding midfielders in the league. I need to see him playing as holding midfielder. I don't know why we have to keep seeing this right back malarkey. I don't think it works. I've never seen him have a good game there. I don't think anybody wanted him to play there. And when he did start there and it started to show for me why we shouldn't be playing him there, if I'm honest. It takes away what he does in the middle, but also it confuses our right-hand side. So I understood what Michael Richards was saying last night on Match of the Day, which is Partey can play there so that he can allow Saka to have space. I get that. But actually, Saka creates an amazing amount of space when we play a 4-3-3. So I don't know why we were trying to complement Saka when he's already playing well. I understand if somebody was struggling, maybe Eddie's not quite getting into the space we need him, or Havertz hasn't been able to be brought into the game. You might change something up there. But having Saka there as the reason as to why Partey plays there, I don't know. I don't quite understand that one from Richards. I think that's a bit of a strange comment to make because I don't think it was working at all. And, I'm not blaming Richards, I'm blaming Arteta there because I don't think that was needed. Very bizarre. So, we look at the game. Forest walk away thinking, we'll take that. We'll take that. Arsenal walk away a little bit disappointed. We got the 3 points. I love the goals. I love the individual quality that we saw. But I can't help feeling that the whole of this pre-season and the Forest game has felt a little bit ski-whiff and unbalanced. I can't pick my first 11 now, but I know what it should be. I've not been able to see our first 11 still with day one for the whole of pre-season and day one and the Community Shield. So, what does our first 11 look like in the eyes of Mikel Arteta? Crystal Palace next game. That's not going to be a free-flowing style of football. So are we going to see a similar lineup there? That's what I'm kind of worried about because I feel like, okay, 3 points is 3 points, but we need to be blitzing teams like that, in my opinion. Oh, excuse me. We can't go to the Palace game worrying about their low block, in my opinion. We went there last season. We got the job done. I want to see us going in there this season, getting the job done with a team that I believe should be a 4-3-3. Let's go to some of the questions. Charlie, big up yourself. He says, "Do you think we'll see a lot more of Partey in the right back position like yesterday and the end of last season, or do you think the experiment has ended?" I don't know why we're experimenting with day one. We should have been experimenting in pre-season with Partey at right back. Why is Partey playing at right back? I think it's the absolutely maddest decision I've seen in my life. Would you play Harry Kane as a right back? No. So why are you playing Partey as your right back? Because Harry Kane gives you something so pivotal up top. Thomas Partey gives you something so pivotal in the middle. Why are we taking him out of the equation? Like, can't Tomiyasu play as a right back? Haven't we got like Timber there brought in to play as a right back? Ben White to play as a right back. I'm seeing this nonsense now from Partey going right back when we've got like 5 right backs at the club. So bizarre. I just can't get my head around it, man. It's so weird. Let's take this one from Ash. Big up Ash. He says, "If it was an experiment, I'm happy we still got the 3 points, but I pray he was a plan. I was disappointed Smith Rowe didn't come on. I just hope Timber's good. Have you heard any rumours of how long he's out?" I haven't heard any rumours of how long he's out. It didn't look good, did it? I'm not going to say he's out for the season or out for 6 months long term, but he didn't look very good. However, a lot of people have said that it might not be a really bad one, and he might be okay. But I really hope he is. I think he's been sensational, Timber. I think he's been absolutely superb. And it's a shame that he's gotten injured already. My mum's come in and said this. Timber's an immaculate record of no injuries. How does he get injured first game of the season? He looked to pull up to me. This is a concern because Thomas Partey never got injured, did he? We've already seen Declan Rice get a tight strain at the Arsenal. Now we've seen Timber go down. This is a worry, isn't it? This is a worry. I don't know if it's a coincidence or if it's anything we can do about it. But I'm just not sure why we're getting so many of these, if I'm honest, because this hasn't just been happening in the last couple. This has been happening for a long time. Let's start some more of your questions. There's about 3 or 4 here that have come in. Make sure that you put in a queue at the start of the questions, guys, so I can see them. Otherwise, they're not going to get looked at. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Andy says, "Good afternoon, Dan. I have a lingering concern. Why do we always leave oppositions a chance to get back into the games? It's hard undoing. Man City don't do it." Yeah, this is key. For me, not killing off games is a real poor sign. And yet again yesterday, at 2-0 up, just like West Ham last season, just like Liverpool last season, we can't get that third goal. I don't know if we switch off. I don't know if sometimes the opposition don't allow you. They change at 2-0. Sometimes we go 2-0 down. You think, right, we've got to change something. And then the momentum stops because the opposition have changed their style of play. But I thought yesterday there was ample opportunity for us to be continuing to knock on the door. And we never got through it. We didn't really create enough for me to get that third goal. And that's a huge worry for me because against the better side yesterday, I don't think we would have won 2-1. So we need to change that, man, for sure. Let's go to Charlie, who says, "Do you see how Havertz fits in?" I don't. Not yet, no. Not yet. A lot of people are bigging him up, saying it was a great performance and that at Wembley he was outstanding and that he was brilliant yesterday. I see good press. I see some link-up play. I see some good touches. I've not seen anything in front of goal that makes me think, wow, 65 million, he's getting 12 goals this season. And I need to see that, man, for 65 million. So let's see what happens there. This one comes in from Cornbread. Says, "Do we need a new Saka chant? It's no longer Emil and Saka. It's just Starboy. Put respect on his name, in my opinion. Now that Zaha's left, would this song be a good adaptation for Saka?" Saka and Emil Smith Rowe, I love it. I can't lie. But there's that song that we're starting to sing that I don't know enough words to yet. But it's Saka running down the wing. Saka. And I hate it. I absolutely can't stand it at all. I don't know why that is a good song. Who the hell has bought that? For me, the best one I've heard so far for Saka is the Queen song, Radio Gaga, "All We Need Is Bukayo Saka." That for me has been the best one. So let's see what develops from that. This one comes in from Wilson. Big up Wilson. It says, "Do you think Arsenal need another midfielder, a right-sided winger and a striker to add more quality and depth to our side?" Well, listen, if we want a 10 out of 10 window, a box-to-box midfielder, a right-sided winger to replace Saka when he's not about, and a central striker are the 3 positions that I think everybody knows we need. We don't need any more holding midfielders. We've got Jorginho, Elneny, Partey and Rice. But for number 8, how many have we got that you trust in? 1. Declan Rice. Xhaka's now gone. Box-to-box midfielder. I think Havertz, Smith Rowe, Vieira are all up in the air, whether they can play there or not. They're all new to the role, so they're learning. We don't want learning. We want ready now to win the league. And I think we need another one. I don't know who it is, though. I don't know who it is now. Caicedo's gone. Lavia's going. Um, Zubamendi is another player that's more of a six from Real Sociedad. Douglas Luiz is a player who's more of a six I've seen us linked with. I don't know who the box to box is. I really don't. Maybe Yuri Tielemans would have been that guy if we would have got him on a free, but we never went in for him in the end. So yes, I do. I think Kudus is the guy that we're linked with from Ajax, £40 million. Apparently wants to agree terms with Arsenal. I'd be really happy with that signing. He can play as a striker, but he can also play right wing and box to box, or more of an attacking option in midfield. So I think that would be a signing that covers a number of positions, but I don't think it's enough. David Raya looks like it's done. So now it's a striker and a midfielder away, in my opinion, of going for the title. And I think we need both, man. So big up Wilson for that one. This one comes in from Charlie. Kynes reminds me of a poor Ozil. Thoughts? My thoughts are, Charlie, that his body language reminds me of Mesut Ozil. Do you know, like he's got that body language like Arshavin used to have and Mesut Ozil used to have, which was basically like wandering around the pitch. I see a lot of pressing, but his attitude sometimes and body language doesn't look great. So if he could change that, I'd like that very much. This one comes in from Charlie. What does Trossard have to do? I think he's great. Number 8 and could be future position. I see Trossard as a player who can play anywhere, but I do believe he needs to be in this squad. I'm not quite sure what more he's got to do to get into this side. I don't think he deserves to be behind Havertz and Eddie, and I think that's a mistake from Mikel Arteta and one that he needs to look at personally. Let's look at PW's question. He says, I was hoping there'd be improvements on players' focus, same as last season. Play good for periods of the game, then switch off. Better teams around us will punish us for these lapses. At home, we always concede. I'm never going for it. I tell you what, you can quote me on this and click me up. I am never going for a clean sheet at home for Arsenal again this season. I've done it too many times. It's never going to happen. Luton, Sheffield United, Burnley, Brentford, I don't care. We are conceding. We need 2 goals every game at the Emirates to even think about trying to take the lead. Frustrating. Really frustrating. So I again was hoping there'd be more player focus. I again hope that will improve. I also think that we do play well for periods of game and can't show any consistency across 70 or 80 minutes. But things need to improve, and I think things will, man. I really do. This one comes in from Colin. Do you think Zinchenko needs to prove that he can stay fit for a period of games? He's going to be pivotal now with Timber out, and his injury record for us worries me. Left back is an interesting one. We haven't seen anything from Zinchenko yet. Timber's been that guy. Tomiyasu has played there. Tierney has played there. Rumours that Kieran Tierney is flirting with a move to Real Sociedad on loan. We would like a permanent move, though. So I think we need now to actually get a left back sorted for like in terms of who's playing. I think Zinchenko is still number 1, but we need to make that mind up. Now that Timber's out, I think it will be Zinchenko. If Tierney's going to go, we need to let him go. Tomiyasu can play there as well as Kivior, so left back we're kind of covered, but I think Zinchenko was definitely still the number 1 in Arteta's eyes. This one comes in from Andy. He says, Dan, it seems Arteta's trying to fit Rice, Partey, Havertz and Ødegaard into this team without changing up the front 3. That's why I think Partey went to right back. You're absolutely spot on, Andy. He is. And I think he wants to play Havertz and Eddie because he has so much faith and belief in them. 1, because he loves Eddie and he's giving him a new deal. 2, because he spent 65 million on Havertz and knows it has to work. And I think that he believes the only person that's versatile enough to go in another position out of those players is Partey. And that's why we're seeing him at right back. And I just don't think it works. I really don't. Let's take a look at some of the last ones of these questions before we wrap up. Make sure you do us a favor, guys. Make sure that you like this video for me, please, and make sure you subscribe. I want to try and get up to 12k as soon as possible, so make sure that you can help us on the road to that. This one comes in from Ross Taylor, who says, Dan, would you have got rid of Xhaka knowing that Havertz would have been his replacement? No, I wouldn't have, but Xhaka wanted to go, so he had to go. I think Xhaka's better than Havertz in that position. I think that's clear. I think for 2 years he showed why he was, but for me, I think Havertz coming into that role soon, we'll see if that works or not, and at the moment I don't think it is. This one comes in, last 2 here, one from Crimson, who says, would you take Nicholas, who? Joint top scorer in the Bundesliga last season, tall, physical and good work rate. I don't know much about him, Crimson, I'm afraid. I heard us linked the other day very, very loosely with Patrick Schick from Bayern Leverkusen. I don't know much about this guy. So maybe you can tell me what he's like. If he's the joint top scorer in Bundesliga, he's obviously done well. So fair play to you, man. But I don't know much about him. This one comes in lastly from Toby, who says, people say Havertz needs time, 65 million for a player that needs time. We're trying to win the league. It doesn't make sense. Yeah, this signing is going to come back to him and either be a master class or he'll have to fall on his sword with it. And I was asked the other day about comparisons. Oh, who would you get then? Well, if Havertz and Vieira were 100 million and Moussa Diaby and Maddison were both 80, I'm taking Moussa Diaby and Maddison. I'm sorry, I am. So that's what I'm going with. Listen, there's still a window open. There's still a centre forward needed. There's still a midfielder needed. There might even be a right-sided winger needed, some may say. But in my opinion, we do need to do that and get it sorted quickly. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, and head over to Bread and Honey Bets. Make sure you do that, people. Bread and Honey Bets on Twitter. Make sure that you go and follow this guy, man. He has been literally winning me money week in, week out at the moment. So make sure that you do it. Bread and Honey Bets. It's not a scam. I'm not getting paid to highlight him or anything like that. All I'm saying is make sure you go over there, people, because like me, you will not regret it. This weekend has been a very good weekend for bets from him. Not one has let him down. So, Bread and Honey Bets, if you like a bet as much as you want, nothing like that. Join the Patreon and he will give you all of his free bets. It's an easy way to make money. So please make sure you do that, guys. It's helping you out for a weekend. Times are hard with this cost of living crisis. Make sure you do that. I'll always promote the things that are going well for me, that are doing well. So make sure you go and do that, because he has not lost yet. 3 months in and he's not lost. Honestly, man, absolutely incredible. Bread and Honey Bets. He's just started up on Twitter. He's only got a few followers, so trust it. Bread and Honey Bets. Make sure that it's the one that I'm following. Bread and Honey Bets. Go and do that, guys, because trust me, you will thank me later. It's literally a Patreon. I think it's £10, and you get to see his bets. You'll win more than £10. Trust me, it's been outstanding. One on the AJ fight last night. One on the MMA. And all the football bets are coming in as well. So make sure you go and do that, people. Well worth it. Bread and Honey Bets. Okay, people, that's me. Take it easy. Up the Arsenal. Make sure you come and join us at 9 p.m. on Lee Judges TV tonight. Tomorrow night will be on Lee Judges TV as well. We'll see you then, people. Take it easy. Up the Arsenal. Laters.